It was in the Barris. Let me look and see.
Ready if y'all are. I don't know. Is this Burt's? Sid. How many are we? I mean, obviously, there are two there. These bigger classes, y'all want to tell me how many are paying, or what's the biggest class?
Like 6.
Biggest class next, I'll just place it.
Bruce and Kendall are over there.
Okay, are these all still built?
Yeah, we can get the birds up here. Okay. Hey, we probably need one more person with the sheet to check out.
Okay, what about the lead? I can do it. Whatever I need to do.
Hold up, let's go.
You act like you're busy.
I can do it once I get mine done.
Yep.
We're going to start in a few minutes. If you have a Class 1 Burt Gilt, please bring them to the holding area.
Let me switch it. Okay. So. Okay. I found my dad. So, where we at? No. No. We'll help you. So, if you want
You got too many layers in.
Class 1 Burts, Class 1 Burts. Please start making your way to the holding room. We also have extra holding pen space. If you have a Class 2 or Class 3 Burt you want to bring into the first holding pen so we can move things along quickly, you can start making your way here.
Is there another sheet? Jeremy has it. Who needs a sheet? Catherine, you need a sheet? Okay.
I need those. I can do it until they're start and then.
Well, April should be over here.
There's some advantages to just showing all. You get done early, you can leave. You do make more money with Paris. If you make sense. No, like.
Hang on,
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A nice, brisk, cool morning to start off the talk show out here. It's mornings like this I realize God has a sense of humor, because while He may have given me some skills at being able to sort and talk livestock, He gave me no skills at driving or directions. And when I missed my exit on that turnpike, I didn't think we were going to get here on time, but we did. And we've got a nice duo to start off the class. Obviously, they're very polar opposite in terms of their type and kind, and so we're going to learn real early this morning which one's more my type and kind. That's the taller young lady's deal to the pair. One that's more attractive.
All right, give him the other one.
That's the one with the tape on, right?
Yeah, no, turn that back.
Test. Cut me off on class 1, but here we go. Again, she's more attractive in terms of her silhouette and presence. She's the one that's more correct in terms of her range of motion, especially off of her rear too. One that has enough shape and dimension to her. No doubt the burlier individual is the cute little girl that comes in second. One that's very stout in terms of bone, foot, and feature. Definitely has more power and dimension in that particular individual. One though that as you study her in terms of her head and neck carriage, not as a lead up front, and one that even though one that moves good off the front, wants to roll off of her rear too and out of her hop. But a good pair. Give them a nice round of applause.
There's a trash box behind me somewhere. Oh. I told
We need all class 3 birds, please.
What? Give it to who?
Angel.
Angel.
Just told. Oh, thank you.
You got after all.
That's great.
Okay, hey, can I see your papers? You gotta click over here. Okay, you click insert. Go away.
If you have a class 4 Burke, you can start making your way to the holding ring. Class 4 Burke.
It goes quick.
Everybody's got a mic. Where do you want them?
Move out into this class 2 with 6 head in it. Lots of differences in terms of type and kind. I think the top 2 elevate to the front in terms of quality of that pair. The young ladies is the one that's longer in terms of side and silhouette, taller fronted and taller shouldered. With that has true width and dimension when you get in from behind. If I'm going to change her, I need to change her out of her hip and the way that she goes at the ground, but I don't know if there's one that's perfect in that area in this particular class. Our Wounded Warrior that comes in second, doing a good job with only one arm out here, and that one is one that you like in terms of the rib shape that one displays, proportionally correct, just a little shorter in terms of segments, not quite as up-fronted, and one, as we said, just when getting behind that individual, doesn't have the overall power and width. The stoutest one of the top trio comes in 3, really like the muscle shape that one displays. That one's not as good in terms of proportions as you study that one through that one's shoulder, one that wants to get a little more awkward in terms of movement off either end than the top 2. Bringing out this little guy here in 4, a long spine one that's got some muscularity, especially on the top side power, one that's a little drier in terms of rib, lower fronted. The ones in 5 and 6 are similar in terms of their type and kind, that they're long spined, attractive individuals that are too tight in terms of their rib shape. They've got to be built wider from the ground up. What I separated that pair on is the 1 in 5 just has more delineation and shape from behind, but they do all a nice job. Give them a good round of applause.
Class 2, first place. Class 2, first place was Peyton Harrington. Second place was Michael Watley, and third place was Zoe Dawson. We need Class 5, Bert, to be heading to the holding pen, please, and Class 6. Rayson Selman, you're needed with your Class 4 Burke to the holding pen quickly, please. Rayson Selman.
Moving into this class here, no doubt the young lady's guilt that wins has the overall advantage in just in terms of sheer power, force, width, and dimension. With that, I think she handles that additional mass fairly good. In terms of her running gear, she gets a shade rigid. In terms of her rear hop from behind, getting awfully critical on one that has that much mass, that much substance and width. She's still one that is collected in terms of her silhouette, in terms of the show ring orientation. I heard her mom over there in the back telling her to get her head up, and I agree that one could be a little taller fronted, but that one's still nice in terms of show ring look. The 1 and 2 is very long spined and mobile, one that you like in terms of true rib shape, one though that as you study that one compared to the winner, not as aggressive in terms of bone and foot, doesn't have the overall power and substance. Young ladies, that's going to come in third, I think there's logically, because that one is so much more correct in terms of build than the next two, doesn't have the extras and the exaggeration of the 2 up above. The 1 and 4, one that you really like, the power, width, and substance. That one for me is a little rough around the edges in terms of look, not as good in terms of running gear. And then one we close the class with, the opposite of that individual, long in terms of spine, level in terms of look, got to be built wider from the ground up. Give them a nice round of applause.
Class 3 winners, first place was Jacelyn Castle, second place was Tristan Simmons, and third place was Kaylee Wilson. I need Class 6 Burke to the holding pen. Class 6 Burks to the holding pen.
Really logical class of 4 to sort out here for this show judge, and the winner is one that I deem as solid. Study that individual. Maybe that one doesn't overpower you or overwhelm you in any one certain aspect or area, but very, very good in the ways that they need to be. I like that one in terms of structural integrity. The best in this class, because when you study that one compared to the guilt that comes into, that one is more correct. True in terms of range of motion off either end. I'll give the advantage to just power and width to the one that comes in second. I like those things about that individual. Study her though in terms of her look from the side, the way that she goes, she's a little narrow in terms of age off either end of her skeleton. The 1 and 3 is super duper powerful, really round in terms of her rib, broody in terms of her look. For me, she's a little juicy in terms of her side and condition out here. Like to clean her up, and but has just so much more shape and natural width than the one that we close the class with. But again, long spine and attractive, the frailest in terms of bone, foot, and feature, the tightest in terms of rib. A good class. Give them a nice.
I need Peyton Harrington and Michael Watley to come to the announcer stand, please. Class 2, Peyton Henning and Michael Watley, can you please come to the announcer stand?
We are on class 4 is in the ring. What did you say Peyton got? Peyton got first. Yes. Yes. All first.
Moving to this trio, and to be honest with you, I don't know if any of them are perfect in terms of the way that they go. Call that a wash and sort them from there. Little girl here is going to win because that one takes the positive pieces of the other two and rolls them into one package. In terms of the fact that she's the second most shapely and dimensional hog of the group, she's the best looking one of the trio as well, and those are the reasons she wins. Could she be straighter and square from hop to ground? Could she be bolder in terms of her bone and foot? Absolutely she could. But in this trio, she's the one that needs to win. No doubt, we've got one in second that has got some length or side. She's one that's attractive enough in terms of her silhouette. One that's not quite as powerful in terms of the way that she's built. She's also one that's a little tighter in terms of lower rib shape. Most importantly, I don't see the added advantage in terms of flex the knees and go off the front end of her skeleton. The 1 and 3rd is definitely the hoss of the group in terms of raw power, but study her from behind. She gets way too outside of herself in terms of her skeleton for me to advance her up in this class. Give them a nice round of applause.
We need all first and second place Burks to the holding pins. All first and second place Burks to the holding pins.
Don't get anything else right all day long. We're going to get this class right, and y'all can't argue with me because there's only one. But with that being said, I'm pretty sure this girl could stand some competition. Study her for one of this age, maturity, and size to have that much dimension to her, still be fresh in terms of her presentation, can get out and go very well. One that's very, very good, and she'll be an added plus out here in the champion drive. Give her a nice round of applause.
Okay, guys, while we have a minute, we have food in the concession. We have pulled pork, walking tacos, all kinds of stuff over there. We also have Sullivan trailer out, Sullivan show supplies if you need them. And we'd like to thank our judge, Ryan Rash, for being here today.
Everybody got the wrong place. Yeah, it was, and they just got the wrong envelope. It's okay.
No, I'm good right now. I went out there and put a paint patch on my back, so we're good right now. Thank you.
I need Class 1 Chesters and Class 2 Chesters to start making your way to the holding pen. Class 1 and Class 2 Chesters towards the holding pen, please.
Where's your card at? Oh, he gave it to me. Okay. What's the name on it, sweetie? And is it the blue one? Okay. Oh, right here. Yeah. Is it right there? Okay. Take it. That's your pocket. I already showed. No. Oh, okay, no, you can keep that card. Did you already go there and show? Oh, you did? Okay, yeah. What class was he in? He was in art class.
All right, let's put your hands together for the Berkshire Guilt exhibitors. Nice breed to start off the show. Lots of good ones all the way through. And, you know, as we get out here in this drive, there are three that surface to the front from me. I think it's a decision that's worthy of a little discussion. I told you in Class 1 I liked that Guilt, and I still do. That's the best looking one of the group. One that's got so much show ring presence and poise, yet still one that's probably the most agile of any of them in terms of her true range of motion, very good at the ground. I realize some of you are going to say she needs to be stouter, she needs to be wider. Maybe she's not quite as big boned as what I consider ideal, but I think she's proportionally right and correct, and everything fits in her. Then the other one, another one out here that's in running, young lady in the cheetah, talked about that Guilt in that class. Just one that's very solid, doesn't overwhelm you or overpower you in any one way, but a solid one all the way through. Study her at the ground. Every once in a while, she wants to get a shot hesitant in terms of her rear posture, but one really appreciate being so solid and correct in terms of her build. You can't deny the power, the substance, and the dimension of the one out of the last class. Again, one that has all that in spades, and yet still fresh in terms of her look. Still one that's good in terms of the way that she moves around the ring. If I'm going to change or critique this individual, I'd like to see her level her right there out of her hip and just raise her and crank her higher at the base of her tail. But that's getting awfully, awfully critical on another very good one. And they're all good. My favorite's Class 1. Congratulations to you.
I need class 1, Kinsley Bond with your class 1 Burt to the show ring, please. Kinsley Bond, class 1 Burt to the show ring.
We had 163 gifts.
You need to try 159. I have seen her and counted everything on this paper.
Oh, that's good. Yes, because we had 21.
Now I'll have 28. Do you know if the kids will do one? Second place. Yeah, me just say like last call or...
Yeah, she called him.
You can scratch it. We're way out there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Second still back in the pen. I remember that little girl and her guilt quite well. We said they were really different in terms of their type and kind, because that one was super stout, not as cool. I just don't think you can leave that class 7 or oldest one out right there. There's just too much good in her at this age of maturity. Congratulations, young lady. You'll be reserved.
Now what? What brings next? What's the classes look like?
Let's see, we have Chester's. The first one, we have 3. We have 7. 3 in that class. 3 in that class.
I just have a class 7. Or class 6, sorry. I can do it if I need to. Well, when they bring in Chester for like high-end of reserve, they'll need to bring first and second class. Yep. They'll need to bring first and second class.
I got 21, and then you're not counting the last 3 Chesters, are
I
you?
just gotta leave before the Chester reserve.
Oh, so 21. That's 24.
Start out the Chester breed again, a logical trio to sort. Young lady over there in the vest is not the one for me. In terms of one that's easily the most agile, best in terms of structural integrity and running gear, still long and level in terms of lines and balance, and plenty stout and behind and on top of her. No doubt the 1 and 2 is freakier fronted. She's actually pulled apart wider. In terms of her top side power, she's opened up more underneath. I like those things about her. She's got a good look. Steadier rear too. She gets underneath herself. And the way that she goes, she's got to be square and straighter from hawk to ground. Then the young man that we closed the class with really liked that one in terms of roundness and rib and broodiness compared to the other 2. Shorter in terms of segments, not quite as nice in terms of look or show ring orientation. Give them a nice round of applause.
Okay, I've got 21 birds.
Okay. Chester's. When you get a chance. Yeah, hey.
Oh, wow.
Perfect. Okay.
All right, that's cheap.
Hey, let me see your paper on your Chesters. How many you got in that first class?
Second class 4.
All class 3. How are you?
one of the better classes all the way through that we've had the ability to look at and sort out here. I think the top two are particularly good. There are differences in between them. Again, I'm going to gravitate to the better looking, fancier fronted one that's sounder off her rear too than the one that comes in second. I'd like to pull her apart wider in terms of her low. Another one of these that I'm going to get right, and y'all can't argue with me. I like that. Thank you, young man. But again, a good one in a lot of ways. Study that one in terms of her head and neck carriage. Really up-fronted. That one's dead level in terms of silhouette. Still one that has some natural width and substance to her. You know, if we're going to nitpick her, sure, we could make her stouter, boned, and featured. But that's a really good one that will add some value to the breed champion drive. Give him a good round of applause.
Your first place winner is Jackson Wright.
Another single entry here. Y'all keep sending these to me. My batting average will improve, and so I'm okay with that. But he does a nice job. And again, this one is not exactly my kind, but you've got to like the things that she does so well, because she is stout, built like a Mack truck in terms of width. One, though, you'd like her in terms of her top line. One that's a little lower fronted and not quite as mobile, but a good one. Give them a nice round of applause.
I need Class 3 Duroc. First place is Ninnekah Davis. I need you to bring your Duroc to the holding pen, please. Ninnekah Davis with your Class 3 first place Duroc. The winner of that last group was Saxton Poole.
She is a big pig. That is a big...
I need first class Hamps to be making your way to the holding pen. Class 2 and Class 1 Hamps to be making your way to the holding pen, please.
She's friendly. That one guy was putting his hand out and he was like, you're trying to get He's using it. He's using it. He's hating it. I know. Walker though. She's kind. This is the breed drive. Is it the champion? Yeah, for the Duroc. So it's 11, 12. Let's see how long it takes them to start judging per class. That'll give us an idea.
You said Class 1, right?
Oh, I know. I'm just saying. If he's
Class 1.
Per class kind of judge, then we know there's 5 classes. We got 15 minutes.
At your convenience, could Caleb Langford, Jackson Reisner, Jayla Green, and Allison Schramhorn come to the announcer stand? You are a winner of our drawing.
Are you Destiny's Child?
Say my name. I don't know what's your name.
I need Maddie Harrell for Class 1 Hamps to the holding pen, please. Maddie Harrell with Class 1 Hamp to the holding pen.
With the H, Peppa.
She does good with hers, though.
That's what I said. That's what they said.
This is one of these decisions you could study them for another hour and change your mind several different times. I'll just be real honest with you. And I'm not going to tell you there's a right answer to how this needs to sort out. I'll tell you there's going to be an official answer here in just a minute. And that's about as best as I can do for you. I think these are good, and these kids that deserve a nice round of applause for their efforts out here. Some of you that have watched me judge know this is my favorite breed of hogs, and so near and dear to my heart. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if that one hit the gate that just came at me and said, I am here to win this deal. But there's lots of good ones out here. So once again, when it is that close, I'm going to stay consistent and stick with the kind that's the most my type. One that's sound, good looking. Yeah, y'all are going to say she needs more. She's the sexiest fronted one. She's got plenty of shade. And I think as you study her in terms of her head, neck, carriage, and presentation, and the way she goes off of her front end, that's where she wins. And it's this cheetah right here. Congratulations to you.
The other one, she maybe picked reserve one. She maybe picked reserve. Yeah, but they have a reserve. I know what I'm saying. I think it's that one. I'm with Dad. I like the one with the stripes.
She won her class. I thought it was
And she drives the best too.
I need all Class 1 Hamps to the holding pen, please. All Class 1 Hamps to the holding pen.
Move into reserve and the plot thickens even more, and you know this one right here is really stout in terms of just total mass and dimension. Like to make that one a little different fronted fit, and that particular individual want to change her in terms of the way that she tracks out of her hawk and down to the surface, straight and square there. But the one that comes second wants to roll off either end of that one's skeleton, probably because that one's got a lot more power, mass, and width and dimension. Not as attractive, and once again, just not as much my kind. Give them a nice round of applause.
That one's so funny. He put his
almost 2 months.
So that one's first, that one's second.
Yep. On that red lane, you're
First place is Maddie Carroll. We need Class 4 Hamps to start making your way to the holding pen, please. Class 4 Hamps to the holding pen.
Take it first. We're probably going to have to find a pen or somewhere here and hang out. We want to walk them all the way back to the trailer and all the way.
What class would you like to think we should put? What class would you like to go off? You know what I'm saying? So that we get them ready.
That's what I'm saying. Pay attention to the. It depends on how large the class is. But if you have a big class and he goes through that whole thing in like 20 minutes, then we know he's going to take about 20 minutes on a big class. If there's a small class and he takes like 5.
I need Presley Strickland with your Class 2 Hamp to the show ring, please. Presley Strickland.
They'll let you probably keep them in that pen.
At your convenience, Caleb Langford, Jalea Green, and Allison Tramhorn, please come to the announcer stand. You have won a drawing.
Right there. And then he calls them. Bring them in.
Well, maybe some of these guilds will leave. We'll talk to him about securing pins. Just to be able to bring them in early, get them
Ready.
here.
And the Poland too. I don't think we're going to have much Poland in my class.
Any Poland.
I think most of them were guilt.
Nobody. We got to get our camp dark. We got to get more sun on
And I'm talking about the last class.
Move off in here into the belted breed, and again, a logical class to sword in class 2. Young lady and the cheetah there, again, study that one in just terms of the sheer width, the dimension, the power, and the squareness that particular individual displays. With the show ring, a look, and appearance, she's definitely the one that needs to come to the top of this class. I'd like to change her in terms of her rear hock, make it just a little smoother in that particular joint to give it a more attractive show ring aesthetic. But I still think that she's good at the ground and one that's very, very powerful. No doubt the best looking one comes in second. Really attractive, really long and level, like those things about her. Just not the overall width and power. One that's not quite as collected as you study her in terms of the way that she goes up front, right in front of you. And then the little guy that's going to come in third, again, long spine, lots of extension. Compared to the other two out here, that one's just got to have more power and punch. Give them a nice round of applause.
First place was Presley Strickland. Second place was Carter Blevins. I need Class 5 hamps to start making your way to the holding pen, please. Class 5 hamps to the holding pen.
pretty good sized classes. They're not, what were they? Not saying they're good size. They're not 13 or 15 figs.
Look at that one, like that. Yeah, it's good.
Makes it easier to judge. Probably because there ain't that many of them, and when you break them down into weights, it is what it is.
I like this one right there. That one's my favorite. Oh, dang, that one. I don't know. I like that one. I like the one. I think the one. Yeah, the one in the black one. I think hers is gonna.
I need all Class 5 hamps to the holding pen, please. Class 5 hamps to the holding pen.
You almost need to give him his own microphone now.
At least he's got a loud voice though to get our attention.
Someone, we got to form a line, have him relay the message like back in the old days.
Yeah, because that's what that does. You can't really hear it up there.
So they have to divide and conquer. Have one family member in here relaying info.
I'm used to everybody yelling at me.
We're all the way across the street, so it's going to take us a minute to.
I like the one in the black vest still.
Alright, out here again, the one that wins does so for fun in this particular group. One that is super attractive in terms of show ring presentation and orientation, yet the soundest one out here in terms of the way that she's built and constructed still has a lot of power in her. You know, we could change her ever so slightly and clean her and chisel her right there under her neck, but that's still one that you appreciate a great deal of things about. The one that comes in second over there on the rail, again, shapely individual that's stout in terms of bone foot and feature. I think that one, for the reason that one's going to get second for me, is that one is sounder than the ones in 3 and 4. I'd like to change that one. I was a little wrong in terms of look out here. One that needs more seamless in terms of transitions, but those are the reasons that that one gets second, because the one that comes in 3, really super cool fronted, long spine, and the best looking one, too tight in terms of rib, gets narrow in terms of gauge. And then Big Booty Judy, one that comes in for really, really, really powerful in terms of shape, one that just struggles in terms of the way she goes off of her rear too. Young lady that comes out next has got one that's nice in terms of lines, gotta have more stoutness and power right in there when we get in behind her. And then the one that comes next again, got some moaning foot and some length, one that's the most awkward in terms of running gear out here. Give them a nice round of applause.
Olivia is here. Hang on. Olivia was in class. Okay,
I changed my mind.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So Olivia needs a second place.
Yes, is she over there?
Well, she was in class.
Yeah. I ain't got you. No, I know. I'm just making sure she goes over there. The fourth one gave me her card too. Okay.
So in class 2,
I need to call her back up here. Whoever got third place.
Olivia Alls from Class 2. Could you please come to the announcer stand, please? Olivia Alls from Class 2.
did you fix her blue card that she got second?
Why is there a second, third? That's supposed to be first. That's first and second.
But you can, I mean, even if that's wrong, just ignore that. Just go by the amount. Because they're in here. Oh, Olivia, there you go, baby. That's yours. You got second place. Thank you.
They are missing this guy here. Thank you.
Which one?
I need Class 5, Hamp, Dane, Stanger,
The girl in the plaid shirt,
to the holding pen, please.
this one out there, she's rocking it. She's not getting in between the judge and the pig. She's staying on top of stuff.
She has that Duroc girl.
Looking at the judge hard.
Bringing that one.
Well, that one that wins, I'm just going to tell you, that one's a sex kitten right there. That one is pure eye candy. Study that one. She takes 2 steps in the ring. That head, neck, carriage, and presentation. One that does all that and has that look, and yet is stout, powerful, sound, and moves like she needs to. That's hard to do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really big in on that individual that's so far into the point of this show. I know we got a lot left, but it's going to take a lot to come in and hit me as hard as that individual right there. Young man that's going to come in second, I told him he's a lot tougher than me, showing in a short sleeve shirt in these weather conditions, and he's got one that's up fronted, long spine and good looking, one that just gets in here with a water moccasin and can't run in this particular class. The one that comes in 3, I think he already went out. Again, that one has more power and mass than the one that comes in 2. Shorter up front, not quite as coordinated in terms of running here. Young lady in the red's got one that she liked the body build and design. Lower fronted, not quite as good in terms of the way that one goes up front. And the little lady that we close the class with, again, one that's nice enough in terms of body and rib. One that's, again, got to be built wider and stouter. That one's got to move better. I do like that rig that won that class right there.
Like Burger King beer footage. In and out, on your way. Yeah. He might take it. Yeah, he might.
At your convenience, Jake Vaughn, Dalton Baker, and Michaela Lutheran. If you would come to the announcer stand, you would won our drawing.
Can you call for Dane Stinger?
I need Dane Stinger from Class 5 to the show ring, please. Dane Stinger from Class 5.
Dave said Dylan, Harry Jacobs, boy Dylan, said he went to this rodeo the other day and took first place. And he said there was some like rookie bull rider. He said he took first place and he actually went up against a couple of guys that already got a champion, like a world champion bull ride title.
Class 4 first place was Hadley Wyatt. Second place was Mason Epstein. Third place was Michael Watley. Last call for Class 5 hamps to the show ring. Last call for Class 5 hamps to the show ring. Class 6, please be making your way up, and Class 7.
Hold this for me, son, so I can use the restroom.
All present, check presents. Give them a nice round of applause.
Class 1 first place winner was Kara McNamara. Class 2 first place was Braxton Fisher.
Sometimes when we have these single entry classes like this, I say, well, this one must have scared off all the competition. I think this one probably could have done that just a little bit. Because again, study that one for what we've seen in this particular breed as shapely, dimensional, and wide as any, with a really nice show ring look and silhouette. Very mobile and agile. Congratulations to you.
I need Class 1, 2, 3, and 4 spots to be making your way to the holding pen. Class 1, 2, 3, and 4 spots to the holding pen, please.
All right, give this trio a good round of applause out here. Another good set. Lots of quality out here, even though the numbers weren't as large as some of them. And again, I think this is pretty simple. We've got a really nice looking one. We've got a really stout one. And then we've got one that is really good looking and stout and sound. And that's the one that needs to win. Congratulations to you, young man. Decision for reserve because that was a single entry. Again, we're kind of really different in type and kind out here. For me, what's going to decide it is just I like the way one goes a little more correctly, especially off the rear too, has a little more flex than get front. I'll use the stout one from Class 1 to be reserved. Congratulations to her.
Our breed winner was Devin Dietrich, and our reserve was Kira McMahon. Alyssa Woodward, Merrick Igo, Ansley Chambers, and Helena Locke. Please come to the announcer stand. You have won a drawing.
Because there's spot reserved for you.
Braxton Blankenship, you're needed in the show ring, please. Braxton Blankenship, you are needed in the show ring with your spot.
Borrow that for a second. See what's coming up.
I watered it and then kind of got people ripped up and dried up. So I grabbed that grass brush and I got it all out. No, not
Girl, we're going to stick some wood chips in your face. Come on, Chop. I might go.
Can we have like a short break before the crosses?
Yeah.
Before we show crosses here in a little bit, we're going to take a short break.
We're not breaking yet. Still got spots and yours, then we'll break it.
What about her?
Probably about 15. 5, 10, 15. What about see what I'm saying? How you hanging in? I'm good. Okay.
When's
Need
a
any
good time?
water, drinking, anything?
No, I just want
I have to go to the
Before we start crossing, there's going to be a break and you need to go back and
Single entry to start off this week, and man's got one again. Really long fronted, long spined individual. We'll study her further in the champion drive. Give him a good round of applause.
I need class 3 and 4 spots to the holding pen, please. Class 3 and 4 to the holding pen with your spots.
Interesting trio right here, and the young man that's going to win. Again, I'm going to be the first to tell you, I want to see that one cooler fronted and go a little more correctly from hop to ground. Other than that, that's the super powerful one of this trio. That's the most correct in terms of build. As you study that one in terms of rib and cage, heavy muscled. And even though I need to change that one from behind, that one has more flex, freedom, and give up front than the one that comes in two. That's better looking, taller, more elegant in terms of the lines and the balance. Want to know that probably of the trio is the narrowest in terms of gauge. Want to pull that one wider apart everywhere you analyze that one and make that one less straight through shoulder and knee. Young lady that we closed the class with really got some extension, still has some power. The frailest in terms of bone and foot, and one that struggles off either end when we ask that one to get out and go. Give them a nice round of applause.
Class 3 and 4 spots. Class 3, Aiden Pena Collier. Class 4, Tristan Simmons. This is your last call with your spot. Class 3 and Class 4.
First place on forward.
Class 2, first place was Dalton Stevens. Class 2, second place was Hunter McCall.
Hey, what did y'all just say on St. Dunes? She just swore you just announced St. Dunes. She thought maybe you had her SWAT as a bear, as a heel as a bear. So that's what she was worried about. Okay. No, she did not. She put her name down. I got a bear and not a heel. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, caller 3 and 4. Caller 3 and 4.
Last call for Class 3 and 4 spots. You are needed now in the show ring, please. Class 3 and 4 spots. Last call.
stranger. How you been?
How many is it? How many is it for you?
They gave you a microphone. Yeah.
Okay.
Couple got 4 discs. But I can't believe they gave you a microphone.
I always do this. I've done this for the last 10 years.
Single entry out here, the predominantly white one that Top's got. Again, you like that one because that one's really sound and functional, mobile in terms of build, yet still got a great deal of dimension and shape. Give him a good round of applause.
You don't wash that, right?
I already washed them all. Yeah. And I washed 5 when Linda was here.
Class 4 spot, Tristan Simmons. You are needed now in the show ring. Class 4 spot, Tristan Simmons.
Hey, they might be coming from upstairs, so we gotta give them a second.
I'm just kind of impressed. I'll live off that around here.
Most of that's going in the classroom.
Alright, David, don't worry.
Get down fire and it's in the town.
Class 1 spots are already, or first place spots are already here. We pulled over.
Class 4, he's here now, right? Okay, so yeah, you can walk.
Young man once again brings a single entry in here. This thing's really good, ladies and gentlemen. Just study that one in terms of what that one presents out here. In terms of show ring presence, yet combining it with some natural width dimension, still being really good at the ground in terms of running gear. Just a very good individual. Congratulations to you.
I need Class 1 Yorks and Class 2 Yorks to be making your way to the holding pen, please.
Booster meeting or whatever, Lindsay John.
Tierney Coons,
We'll get into it.
Sadie Keith, and Ansley Chambers. You have won our drawing if you would come up to the announcer stand.
We bring me those and a Mountain Dew.
All right, let's give these kids a nice round of applause. Might be the only breed where we see a male-dominated drive out here. And so, again, they do a really good job. To me, it's really logical on how this has to sort out. If y'all have noticed anything about me, I'm a little more extra and exaggerated than most people that are in this deal. And so that's the kind of animals that I gravitate to, and that's the one out of 4. Congratulations to him. That was a single entry. The one that come back out here for reserve. The one that runs the closest race. The other one, good man over there on the rail. 3. Give him a good round of applause.
Four and three, yeah. Thank you.
Our breed is Tristan Simmons, and our reserve is Aiden Collier.
I learned it here.
We need Class 3, 4, and 5 Yorks to please be making your way to the holding pen. Class 3, 4, and 5 Yorks to be making your way to the holding pen. After the York show, we will take a short break before we start our crosses.
I don't know.
Okay, print it off.
We're good to go? Thank you. We're only giving money to first place. There's only 2 in the class. Okay, we added.
About time, Sid.
Nice trio to start off the Yorkshire show, Young Lady in the Stripes. That one for me is one that has a great deal of look and she'll bring presence, yet still one that even though that's not the most shapely one out here, there's enough for this show judge, and that one is so much more correct in terms of the way that one is built and assembled, especially off the rear too. No doubt the most powerful hog in terms of muscularity comes second. I like that that one's opened up and rounder and more robust in terms of rib than the first place winner. One though that as you study that one in terms of the way that she goes from behind, she's got to be more collected and organized in terms of her skeleton. The one that's in third, really long spine, level design one. Again, as we've said lots of times out here today, got to widen that one up from the ground, have that one with more power and true shape. Give them a nice round of applause.
Those are unlucky. You can't eat peanuts on show day. What is wrong with you?
It's peanut butter. Not peanut.
Black butter.
It's protein. We got small ones. I hope they're killers. We'll get a bowl of water and I'm not trying to take out my time. The envelopes wasn't on the weekend. That makes you look good. And they didn't say nothing about it or else.
Class 1 York, first place was Ella
Angel got only
Newdane.
yesterday morning. Oh, they may not. And they don't have to look at no, they sent me. Well, I mean, it was just in my order. He just, all he went over was a substitution, so he didn't say nothing about cleaning out. It's all right. Chris, look here.
Chris Wilson, can you please come to the announcer stand? Chris Wilson to the announcer stand, please. Caitlin Williamson, your class 4 York needs to be in the holding pen, please.
I don't know if it'll load on because I was like, it's not load. Okay. You give me 8 ounce cups of 6 Okay. Those were, yeah. Taylor Woods? Okay.
Class 2, Taylor Woods to the holding pen, please.
Here we go. Finish good. Big booty beauty.
Braxton Fisher, Aubrey Wilson, Aiden Collier, and Taylor Waltz. When you, at your convenience, please come to the announcer stand. You won a drawing.
If you got time, you got time for it. I said, hey, not only am I going to have one for it, but you next time. Smelling it. No, this is 4. You say it was 3 girls. Well, Annabelle told me it was a boy. They'll never come out and ended up saying it. It was supposed to be a surprise.
Moving to this class, and again, the young lady that's going to win, I like that one in terms of build better than the one that comes in 2. Definitely the taller fronted, longer sided one that's more level and correct. in terms of silhouette. With that, I think that one's considerably better as you study that one off the ground, especially off the rear end of that one's skeleton. I realize the one in second is stouter and burlier, has more natural intensity in terms of bone and foot. One though that one doesn't want to travel quite as nicely, isn't as long in terms of silhouette, wants to get a little rounder and tighter out of that one's hip. And then the one that we close the class with, again, very good in terms of extension, to dry and raw in terms of presentation and rib shape. Give them a nice round of applause.
Let him out. 10. We'll go walk across the driveway. Once he gets into the dirt, he's gone. We're leaving on the other side of the house.
Lights out proposition on this one end over here, but the young lady needing to win again. Just look at the presence that that one displays in terms of the profile, and yet one that's still power packed, full of density, muscularity, width, and one that still goes very good in terms of the way that one moves around the arena. Not gonna lie to you and tell you that one's perfect. Through shoulder and knee, I could lay that one back in that angle ever so slightly, getting super critical on a really good one. Congratulations to you. The young man that's gonna come in second, there's just more total muscularity and width in that individual than the one that comes in third, but doesn't have the look or presence of the one that wins. This one here is one that you appreciate in terms of length of side, one that's not quite as good and collected in terms of running gear. Give them a nice round of applause.
Class 3, first place was Grayson Wolf, second place Dane Stanger.
Single entry in this class, and the young lady brings us one that pieces together a very nice silhouette or showroom presence because of that extra levelness in terms of top line, one that's still attractive up front. Steady her further in the champion drive. Give her a good round of applause. Pretty in pink out here has got another single entry, and again, watch that one up high. That thing is massive in terms of back. Square, square, square in terms of that one's built. Still has a nice look in terms of showing silhouette. Again, we'll study it further in champion drive. Give her a good round of applause.
Anna, do you have a class 2? Huh? Class 2 what?
I need first place, class 2, to the holding pen.
She said it's because we added that other one in there, so we didn't. She said there was only one. You can add some to that was something else.
Class 1, there was only one.
Yeah, because she redid them in class 2.
Class 2, she had 2.
They're not in there. I went through.
I did that one.
Yeah, because there wasn't one made.
Who got third place? Class 2.
building in
His
as well.
kid right there. You got second? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
That's what he said.
So Taylor
He's
wins.
doing it. He looks.
And he didn't get a card.
Second or third.
Third didn't get anything because there's only 3 spots.
They should have got one.
Yeah. You told me there wasn't one made.
No, that was class one. That was class one. I may have missed that one. Which ones did I miss?
The spots. Well, she just had to make up 4 more envelopes for her spots. Because they didn't do all the spots.
He does quite a bit of that. That was pretty early in the morning.
You pick up a cup like that, pick Joel up and that old hinky we've got. Say, hey Joel, I'm going to pick up take your sister crying. You like to play pick up her deal. He said, relax, it wasn't mine.
No.
Are we doing breeding?
Yep.
Did we pick breed yet?
You know, he's got to be used to where he's running it. I would think.
But you can't email it down on the floor.
Yeah, walk away.
If it's one from yesterday, it should connect to that hotspot.
Okay.
A while ago, he tried to do something.
Give these young ladies out here in the Yorkshire Guild Drive a good round of applause. A nice set. Lots of stuff to work through here. And again, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if there's, even though they're very, very good individuals out here, I'm not sure there's that one that just dominates the field, primarily because there's so much quality out here. I like them all. I think it boils down to 2 of that pair that's at the top. In terms of this decision, one's got a cooler look in terms of presence. They're both very shapely, even though that one isn't quite as powerful as one of the older ones out here, one that still has a great deal of shape. I like that one's presence. From the profile, I said, and that one's class, just a little straighter, through shoulder and knee than what I consider ideal. The other one out here, the young lady in the pink, from the last class, again, love the massive back and design and build, and that one has, and yet one that still, for one of this maturity, it's got some show ring presence about it. I think that one is freer up front, possibly because that one's a little softer in terms of rear posture, and then you study that one from behind. She wants to just peg and lock in that rear hock ever so slightly. But they're all very, very good. The one that hits me the hardest is the young lady in the ponytail and the blue stripes. She'll be the champion. Congratulations to her. Follow up right here with reserve. Congratulations to you, young lady.
Be right back.
You're fine.
3 was grand and 5 was I just
Tommy doing? Got up there in Pascal, so yeah. He's found the picture. You got it. You did Pascal work on you?
Thank you,
I work.
sir.
Didn't Pascal know what you don't? I used Thunderbird and him and Pascal. They went to school together. And I met Pascal. He's pretty cool. Come in and jokes about everything. Anyway, this was just cool. Oh, okay. When you want to get 3 days later, day before Christmas Eve. Yeah, and anyway, we're going 3 off. They called off the show. Come find out it wasn't anything. Yeah, so he put the show in the Thursday off. I gave him a hard time 2 days ago. Well, you're checking the book. You know Rick Hartman, didn't you? Brad. Skinny guy. His back hurt him. He wasn't.
Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you do crossover?
Yeah,
I got a crossover.
Well, I'm waiting for
And then,
him.
you'll have to do birds too. I have
Small place here. It started a week ago.
I don't know. I'm guessing.
Three or 4 days ago, went back to the doctor. The doctor called. Can't see you. Went to the doctor.
what you got to say.
You could use it as the whip, though. I mean, maybe not.
We're gonna try it out. We'll see here in a minute.
Somebody needs somebody to come down to the bathroom.
Trying to get it instead of being the worship.
We're about to start back up again. If you have a Class 1 or Class 2 cross, please start bringing them to the show ring.
There's no more than 10. Top half.
This one on the fence and 5. The easiest way to break them is just we'll come out and help too. But, you know, like that.
If you have a Class 1 or Class 2 cross guild, please start making your way to the ring.
String that up along the bottom about like the show ring there. Have somebody get behind that ball and hurl the side. Come this way. Don't let it back up. Leave it alone. Basic stuff.
When we go through this, I'm going to come over here and ask y'all how many.
Remember when they come over and help us do that? When they all know about lava or something? That cable fence. Hey!
What is his name?
You don't get barbed wire if somebody's on both sides. What I'm guilty of, don't wait for temper.
What do you ask him about that?
And the crosses, because some of those classes we might
He
have.
knows.
They are bigger because I have to make them a little bit bigger. They're going to come in the water. Okay.
We're going to get this one ready. Yeah.
I'm good. How are you? That's good.
Hi, son. Y'all ready?
You're always writing stuff down.
That way, you know, we can go back and look how we've done past. If we're progressing, if we're falling
No, not yet. She said they're having a problem with it. They're fixing to be up.
Last two.
If you have any Class 2 crosses, please make your way to the holding ring.
Still like the color of those big gray one right there. I love those colors.
Going past the ginger boy.
I wonder if we can't make a collar for pigs when they're little. Have the front of the collar really wide, like a neck brace, with the back skinny. And put that collar on them and they can walk with their head up. I wonder if that would
start out in the crossbred showing only 5 in here, but I don't know if you can get them any more different in terms of type and kind, and lots of differences. If we could take the top 2 and gel them together, then I think we'd have that Chinese Ninja crossbred market gilts. That's just not the case out here, and they're really different. I need to change them both structurally, call that a wash, and there's just no denying that blue gilt is massive in terms of her build and her design. Still has a nice look. In terms of the front 1/3 of her body, I realize that she gets outside of herself, off of her rear too, but there's more to her and more of her. And even though she liked to rail her in terms of her corners, she sits down with more authority off of her rear pastern. The best looking one comes in two, really elegant up front, long in terms of side. I think that one's got just enough shape and mass and dimension. The problems I see in the gilt is we need to pull her part wider underneath. Most importantly, she's got to be stouter in terms of her bone, foot, and feature to make that presence in terms of her profile more proportional as she gets a little narrow in terms of her gauge off either end. The 1 and 3 is simply better structured than the next 2 that come next, but 2 drop in terms of her rib. This one here is super wide and square in terms of build. Gets awkward in terms of the way that one goes from behind and up front, and then the one that we close the class with is more attractive in terms of length and levelness, one that's too straight and restricted off either end and a little frail in terms of her make. Give them a good round of applause.
I need Class 2 cross. Haley Tidwell to the show ring, please.
Oh, that looks like a little Johnny.
You'll keep that thing moving. You got to change.
Yes, that's
It's on you.
Yeah.
At this point.
And he's not keeping us there all the time.
Can you call Tina? Yeah. She gave me some, but not more.
They're those little boats.
That's what those are.
No, they're smaller than that, aren't they?
I don't think so.
Here, you may have to do it. Because I don't get reception right here.
I don't need it.
That is a pretty big guy. Right there. That one does look really good. There's Johnny Cash.
The other one goes April.
Where are we hanging them at?
I don't know where they hung them, Sid.
That's where we're hanging it up.
Without a doubt, the deepest class in terms of quality that we've seen all day. I really think the one that wins is very, very good in a lot of attributes. Study her compared to the population out here in the show ring right now. One of the ultra attractive ones in terms of presence, and yet one of the super stout burly ones in terms of build. Still gets out and goes very well, especially off the rear too. Maybe a tick straight through shoulder and knee, but that's getting really critical on a real good one. The one in second is unique and has a lot of intriguing pieces. Snake skinny out here and still grain, but I love that one's front end. I love that one's muscle and delineation. That one is sounder than the one that's going to end up coming in 3. Need to pull that one apart in terms of rib out here today to let that one run with the blue butt. This one's got a really cool front end, and that thing is big-legged and stout boned. One that's still got some shape. Watch her go from behind. She's just not as collected or organized in terms of her skeleton. The 1 in 4 is ultra attractive, maybe a little sounder than the one right above. Doesn't have the power, mass, width, and substance. Then we got one out coming here in 5, different than this one because that one is super massive, wants to hyperextend and get too rigid in terms of rear hog. Young lady coming out next has got one that's good in terms of body and build. Gets a little awkward in terms of running gear, plainer in terms of look. And that one coming out here next is one that's really long spine, little frail and bone and foot, too tight in terms of movement. We closed the class with one again that she liked the extra length that that one has. That one's got to be built wider from the ground up and just needs more days on feet to be competitive. Give them a nice round of applause.
First place was Cash. Second place was Embry Moser. Third place was Adley Castor. And fourth place was Kira Hine.
Okay, I put I put 254 and 245 when really they're 154 and 145. I don't know why I put 2. I don't have any 245.
Okay.
So on my hands.
On your hands?
They're barrows, yes.
Okay, where is... Are you watching for me? I just need the top 3. Okay, what's the name?
Paisley Cheatwood and Tracy Cheatwood.
Okay, so we're going to mark you up here. 145, 154. Okay, so you're going to go 154. So that's class 5.
Okay. The other one's 145.
So they wrote it down wrong.
Okay. All right, sorry about that.
That's Paisley?
Yeah, Paisley's 145.
Paisley will be in 4. Okay.
Paisley will be in what?
Paisley will be
They showed me a car that 140. I don't know where 140 comes from.
Another really good class, and again, a dominant force at the top, just in terms of one that's been built like a Kardashian from behind, in terms of sheer force of dimension, so burly in terms of her build, yet she's still an up-fronted, nice-looking one that gets out and goes pretty good off either end of that one's skeleton. You know, if I could change that one ever so slightly, might want to let that one just assemble a little differently in terms of hip, but that's getting awfully critical on a very unique one. And I realize that this one's a little longer, a little leveler in terms of hip, especially one though that just doesn't have the overall stoutness of bone, foot, and feature, not as extra and exaggerated in terms of type and height. The blue butt that's going to come 3, I like that one's rib, I like that one's body and cage, got plenty of muscle. One though that as you study that individual just isn't as good in terms of the way that one goes off the rear too. Then we've got 1 and 4 that you appreciate in terms of length and levelness, one that's too dry in terms of rib, the one coming out in 5 is one that's good in terms of body, not as much my kind in terms of look and presence. And then we close the class again with one that you like some power and width that one displays, gotta be more organized and correct in terms of build and structural integrity. Give them a nice round of applause.
So Paisley and Trenton is going to be in class 5. That's Paisley. Trenton's in 5. And mark them off that last class.
Yeah, I'm already marking.
But, yeah, I would say 2 or 3 taps.
Okay, so what was the one that
They're going to be so fast. Find your groove that you work well with and roll. Don't go so fast.
So we had 9 pages.
We're marking this one off, so okay.
I don't know. Hey, bring me your work. Yeah, bring me this.
She's leaving 3 and going 2 by herself and 6.
Don't use it. Let me know.
And they know her already.
Up a little bit. Left. Left.
She's going to class 6 by herself.
Anyone else in the black class, bear class,
Guys, the barrack classes are posted around the barn, so you can go look and see where you're at in your barrack classes.
What was that guy just had? Camps? Camps. Okay, so I was just now doing camps.
the more you're feeling on lip sleeves.
There's 11 in there.
Man, I went to drink my coffee earlier and I forgot to put fresh coffee in there.
Cut on your roll.
She's clipping.
Oh, you mean write the big checks? Oh, she's clipping.
Yeah, she's
So
clipping
yeah,
her
she'll
hand.
have to write the big checks. She probably knows where the pen is. I bet.
All right, we're a good guilt show all the way through. Great kids. Give all of them that showed and everybody that helped them big round of applause. Impressive set from start to finish. Some of you may know that I also coach beauty pageant queens. And the similarities between livestock showing and beauty pageants are really similar, even though you wouldn't know it. We all use the same things: hair, glue, brewer paint, beauty products. We get them as attractive as we can. We send them out there on stage, and we hope that the judge votes in our favor. There are two fundamental differences. Number one, pageants are climate controlled, which I'm a fan of. Number two, most times show stock do not talk back, and I promise you pageant girls do. But other than that, it's really, really similar, and maybe that's why I like both of those things a lot. I do think that there are some really, really good ones out here. To be completely honest, there is one that looks like she's standing ready to be Miss America out here, and I think Ray Charles could find that hamster guilt to win, and she's going to MMA.
Good job.
Both hands.
Both hands.
Right now, I got some pigs back there that will talk back.
I said most times she'll talk. I've been picked and taken out by plenty of them, but I promise you pageant girls talk.
Do we need to tell them that we'll do the pictures after everything?
Okay, now what?
They want to take the pictures with their film.
We can.
Well, we have that backdrop that they have to put it together.
Well, we ain't got a home.
They got envelopes. All the envelopes stuff, yeah. 5 minutes or so, yeah.
Where's the restroom?
Right behind there.
Okay, guys, we're going to take a 10-minute break. And if you want pictures of the ones that just won, please come back up here. And we'll get some pictures going here in just a moment.
Not doing the backdrop? We don't have to. I was just wondering where I need to stand.
No, I was waiting to figure out where we're going to hang it with. Huh? I ain't figured out where we're going to hang it. I know. They might be.
And I'm going to
Yeah, they'll come in here and get the big checks and get the judge and all that.
that way.
Huh?
That way. So are they doing any more judging?
Yeah, I mean, we're happy.
She was supposed to ask.
They, it's really, it's right down like 1 something. We're here usually like, this guy was by the time he gets the various toys done,
Oh, yeah.
there goes the county, Southwest Texas, and Hawaii. They're just getting out as much as they can, but they don't know the last I have heard days, and that's the rest of the there's 5 other shows around the state. Yeah. I'm glad we had 2 teams last night. It would have been and I can't smell, so it's really smelling like this.
It's not really a whole lot to win. It's $200. I'm expecting it to be more. You gonna make it?
I don't know, he acts like he's dying.
Stop.
Did you get the check wrote out? You got a pretty good memory.
Told you it'd be warm in here.
Well, it started finally warming up a little bit outside, I think.
Is that one see? I like that better, don't you?
Yeah, that's why I said on the outside. He's like,
Make sure you wash your hands a lot. I've done seen like 6 people use the bathroom and walk out without washing their hands. So that means they're touching everything and they're not washing their hands. So make sure you scrub your hands.
I don't know because they get the water potty in there.
First place is $200. Grand champion's $200 with this. Thank you. 100. can make it easy. Just tell them to let me win and we'll go. I said, this guy, just put him in first and we can call it a day, right? Some more barrows than guilt. That's surprising. I figured it would have been opposite. Was it?
Y'all been feeding me good.
That ain't no ribeye.
No.
Right?
Hey, April said anything you want at the concession stand, and I want a ribeye.
Yeah, I went up there and verified. There's no steak or cold beer.
Said anything you want.
Okay.
But I'm thinking I'm not getting a ribeye.
All right, Mr. Stair.
Yes, ma'am.
How many total births was there? 24?
Throw a little sausage and bacon.
You're a bacon person? So I like sausage though. Can't have biscuits and gravy without sausage.
I have to agree, and I don't like sausage, but that's the only thing.
Hang on.
Me either. It gives me half. I like bacon. Bacon's good.
Give me a chance, Sarah.
Can't go wrong with either one of them, really.
Hey, Mr. Stair. Where'd we get?
Maybe he went that way.
Go out that door and see if you
He may be right outside the door and or facing. Spot 10.
10 total. All right, spot. 16. York. All right. And cross. Okay.
I'm walking out there.
I'm walking in.
Yeah.
That's how Grandma Ruth talks. We're gonna be a walking downtown. We're gonna be a walking. We need to call Grandma. We need to talk to her.
We do.
Can't go visit her really.
Yeah. Because she said she has to stay in
She has to go
quarantine for 2
outside.
weeks.
Yeah, no,
After
she's
she
out of
visited.
quarantine.
Well, I thought after somebody visits
No.
her, she has to stay in quarantine.
When you go to visit, you just have to be outside to do it. So if it's freezing cold, they're gonna have to drag her outside in the cold. And then you can't hug her, can't kiss her. You gotta stay 6 feet away.
thinking back to like good match.
What'd he say?
He was kind of taken back by the judge.
Oh, I bet he was.
He's pulling out. He was giving me a hard time. I said, I apologize. I should have warned you.
Mr. Ash,
Yes, sir.
it's better than a Longhorn show.
A little bit. Sometimes. Oh no, we'll wait and see what they say on social media later.
I saw all those comments and I saw your post on Facebook. I was like, oh my goodness.
Hey, we can do fact checkers on this.
Yeah. The world needs a lot more. A lot more.
Hang on.
How many you need?
Yeah. All right, I need one.
One left. I've got one. Two. They've got one. I'll be back in the rest of my bag.
You got one, don't you?
Oh, I gave it to you.
You got everything covered that we need. I can just imagine it. I didn't see it. I mean, it was still funny.
We need all Berkshire bearers, class 1 and 2, to the holding pen, please. We're getting this show on the road.
Go sit in the truck and take a break. Now's the time.
Just for reference, we're about halfway done, not quite. So,
I got my gates on now. But I'll go get some. I got my gates on that.
that might work.
Okay, I'll go get some. If you see Amy, Chris, I tell them I went to $2 because they're kind of watching my children. So, just how many birds y'all got? How many bears? 23.
Adley Castor, Ashley Denton, Chloe McCall, Dane Stegner, and Madison Spry. Please come to the announcer stand. You won a drawing at your convenience.
Good pair to start off the barrel show here. Obviously, some differences in terms of type and kind, maturity, and condition out here. The one that I think offers more unique pieces is the skinnier one of the two. Study that one in terms of head and neck carriage. One that's really powerful in terms of top side shape, long and level in terms of design. And I think that one goes with more freedom and ease off either end than the one that comes in second. Obviously pressure and fuller bodied out here than the one that we used to initiate with. A little plainer in terms of look, not quite as powerful or rugged in design. Give them a nice round of applause.
Hey, first place is Ross White. He didn't have his car. Never mind, he's bringing his car because his dad said he needs to learn first. So, bring his car. Whatever you say. That's fine.
I need all Class 2 Berks to the holding pen, please. Class 2 Berks to the holding pen. And Class 3, be getting ready and working your way to the holding pen, please. Class 3 and 2 to the holding pen.
You know, like right at 8 o'clock, it's hard to do. There'll be people wanting to do your place when they get here.
And they have been feeding that pig through. Geraldine, you're already took in this that one.
was fixing to say that they forgot to turn the cards in at the state.
A really, really good class out here, and I mean that sincerely, all the way down to the close of it. These things have some value and added things that you like. There is no question that one has to win. He's a man amongst boys out here in this field, in my opinion. Study that one in terms of the look, the show ring presence that he portrays with all the power, mass, and width and dimension, and yet he just gets out here and floats. I like that rig really, really well. Congratulations to him. 2 and 3 are no slouches by any means. For 1 and 2nd is more my kind in terms of look and levelness. One that's a little more streamlined in terms of design. Just doesn't have the extras and exaggeration of the winner. The 1 and 3 is more powerful in terms of rib and cage. I like the fresh full body look that that one displays. That one gets straighter through shoulder and knee than what I consider ideal. This young man here's got one that's long and level, built similar to the one that's at 10 and 2nd and 3 in terms of type and kind. One though that just plays out in terms of raw power and dimension. You know, one we've got here coming around next, you like that one in terms of length and levelness. And again, a very good class with a very solid one to close on. Just gets out-horsed and overpowered. Give him a nice round of applause.
I'm 5, but they're putting 3 in.
First place was James Purdue. Second place was Cheyenne Emerson. And third place was Sage Dummons. We need Class 4 Burks to the holding pen, please. Class 4 Burks to the holding pen.
Yeah, he pulled his pickup up right out there by the front, left it running. So I was sitting there listening to him. And I walked over there and opened the door while his buddy was in there. I said, shut this thing off. I'm tired of listening to it.
Maddie Carroll, Class 4, Burke, you're needed in the show ring, please, or in the holding pen. Maddie Carroll.
I'm not sure if we're in the Burke show or the Crossbred show, but I'm telling you folks, these things have been good so far right here. And y'all know me, I'm one to use breed ones when I like them. And so if they keep coming like this, it's going to be a fun day. I think these two on top, very, very good. And I know they're different, and I'll describe the differences to you. That one in the lead, I mean, that thing is Chewbacca-legged. You can't make them any burlier or stouter than that one is. And he just gets out and goes like he needs to in terms of keeping things right there on the corners, really getting out and moving like a well-oiled machine. And that one has got more slope and angulation to his shoulder and knee than the one that comes in two. That is sexier fronted, longer spine. I love that one's look in the side view profile. Is that one as powerful as the winner? No, but there's plenty of shape in there. Stouting that one up in terms of bone just a little bit. Most importantly, give that one a little more freedom and flex up front. We could switch that pair, but they're both really, really good. Congratulations. The one that went out in third likes that one in terms of being one that's very solid. Doesn't have the extras and exaggeration of the top two and just didn't go quite as well off either end. This one coming out here in four, again, powerful in terms of build. Got to be more attractive. 1 and 5 is one that you like the shape and dimension. Again, not quite as collected in terms of silhouette. A little lower in terms of front end. Young lady rolling around next has got a fresh full body one. Got to have more bone and foot. And we have another one coming out here that again got some shape and dimension. Not quite as good in terms of structural integrity. The one that we close with, just a little more conventional in typing kind. Got to have that one with a little more look and overall soundness. Give them a nice round of applause. Again, another really good class and a sassy, good-looking one stands up here at the top. Love that one in terms of show ring presence. One that still has a lot of just natural power when you get in that one in steel. One that I like in terms of the way that one goes. The one in second is one that's really opened up, good in terms of rib, and one that's got a lot of stoutness. A feature, that one's not as show ring oriented in terms of look from the blades forward, not as tall fronted, one that just doesn't have the overall presence of the one that wins. The 1 and 3 is one that you like the body proportions and build, not quite as sound off either end. And the 1 and 4 again, you like that one in terms of just being opened up in terms of lower rib shape, one that's just simply not as much of a show hog as the ones up above them. Give them a nice round of applause.
JC Lynn Castle, can you please come back to the announcer stand, please? JC Lynn Castle to the announcer stand.
Sarah got second.
Cooper Ellison, Class 5, you're needed in the holding pen with your Burt, please. Cooper Ellison, Class 5 Burt, to the holding pen. Sarah Nunley, can you please come back to the announcer stand, please? Sarah Nunley.
This breed just continues to impress, to be real honest, and I like the top 2 and 3 and 4 in this class all really well. That one that wins is very, very unique, and you study him, and once again, that thing is just built like an American Ninja Warrior in terms of shape. He is so burly in terms of his make, still really flexible and pliable off either end of his skeleton, and retaining some show ring value, and look to the front 1/3 of his body. The one in second is just a notch cooler fronted, and I get that, and if we could change that one and right there out of that shoulder, the way that one plants and hits the surface up front, that decision would be even closer than what it is, because I love that one's extra long neck, long spine, level design, just subtle differences in those two. The 1 and 3, again, you like that one in terms of look, not quite as cool and tall fronted, one that's not as powerful as those two, the one that we closed the class in, just gets in here in a very, very high quality class, but that's a solid one that's just not as powerful or as extra or cool looking. Give them a nice round of applause.
First place was Kaylin Hicks. Second place was Anna Wilkins. I need Chesters, class 1 and 2, to be making your way. Well, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Start making your way to the holding pen, please. Chesters, 1, 2, 3, and 4 classes to the holding pen.
Young lady's got one that likes me, wants to get up close and personal to me. I like that. But this is a good one again. One that's very solid in terms of that one's build, in terms of just sheer width and dimension. One that's still good enough in terms of structure. This is going to be an ultra competitive breed drive here, ladies and gentlemen. Give them a nice round of applause.
say I'm never taking pictures of y'all. I started saying.
Kind of like see what you've been missing out all these years.
Well, what an impressive way to start. And again, y'all haven't been the most vocal crowd, but please show these kids and those that helped them get here a big round of applause. Really super set out here, and all of them are very impressive. I think there are 3 that just get into what I call that elite category out here, and there was some seconds that are ultra good as well. And you know, as you study those 3, the decision for reserve is even going to be close. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't made my mind up on that just yet. The one that wins is just the one that hits me the hardest. Everything about that individual is what I like to see and what I admire and love in hogs out here, because of just that come hither look, that ultra pliable flexibleness, one that just pieces together so beautifully in terms of profile, and yet is still ultra good at the ground. I really like you, Flamingo. That one's the winner right there. Congratulations to you.
Class 2.
She's in there. So breed. They already breed it.
No, he was breed champion. I mean, class 2 second place. She's already out there.
Decision for reserve, I said it is close, and it is. And it boils down to this young man right here and that young man right there. And those are the 2 that come the closest to running the race with that champion, and there's difference between them. The one from the lighter weight class is one that is just so correct in terms of proportions, massive in terms of density, and both of these get out and are very mobile. I think that one has the advantage up front in terms of the way that one gives them flex. That one is not as extended in terms of spine, not as tall fronted or elegant shouldered, and one, I don't know how big that one's ever going to be, but whatever size that one is, he's going to be ultra good and very competitive, maybe a little earlier maturing than what I consider ideal in a real close race. We talked about that horse from one of the heavier classes. Again, you just can't make him any burlier. He's still one that has some presence and some look from one of that weight and maturity. I said, and I'll say it again, just to scope straight through shoulder and knee. Not saying that one can't move, but when it's this tough and that tight, you got to get critical on him. I still think because he's the later maturing one that has the most mass, he needs to be reserved. So congratulations to you, Cowboy.
April, where is the trash bag in the cafeteria?
You go in the back door, those lockers, and it's on top of it.
Okay. Just the big white one, the big clear one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your breed was James Perdue, and your reserve was Kaylin Hicks.
Single entry to start off, the white down there, everyone's here, and again, long in terms of spine, left in terms of design. Study that one further in the grand drive. Congratulations, honey.
Cooper Ellis.
Ellison and Kaylin Hicks, if you can come to the announcer stand, you won the drawing at your convenience.
Young man in a pastel plaid shirt in this trio, he's got the one that is super duper stout and yet hinges the most correctly out of that one's hip and hog, has the most cushion and flexed up front. I'm not going to tell you that one's as correct in terms of balance or lines as the young ladies that comes in second, because that one does portray a nicer picture of balance, and from the side view profile, one that as you study that particular individual, one that gets a little stiltier up front, doesn't have the raw power of the one that wins. Young man's got a nice one in third in terms of rib, just gets overwhelmed out here in this particular trio. Give him a nice round of applause. Young lady wins because that one, as you study that one underneath, is wider and square in terms of range of motion and how she plants. That barrel plants at the surface, yet that one's really opened up, fresh and full body, and still has a lot of shape. No doubt the one in second is more powerful, one that's a little nicer fronted, not as correct in terms of total rib and cage, one that's a little lower fronted, and one that, as you study that one, just not quite as mobile, but a good pair. Give them a nice round of applause.
Class 2 first place was Tracy Wolf, second Moxie Albright, third Lane Bailey. Class 3 first place is Hadley Wyatt.
Young lady in the plaid's got the sleeker fronted, better designed one in terms of show ring presence. I think that they're both about the same in terms of actual total shape. Even the one in second, though, is a little more delineated and perhaps has the advantage in terms of topside mass. No, that's lower through his front end, not as collected and organized off the rear, too. Give him a nice round of applause.
Guys, we also have some Winter Classic t-shirts up here at the announcer stand if you'd like to come purchase one. They're $15. We also have Sullivan Show Supplies here. And we'd like to also thank our judge for being here, Ryan Rash, for being here. Rash, excuse me.
Has anybody turned any wallets in to anybody?
Right, as we go out here to pick this breed champion, give this group of four a really nice round of applause. Another good stand, and they've done a nice job. To me, it boils down to the little guy right here in the pastels and the young blonde young lady in the ponytail out there. Again, they're very different in terms of their type and kind, but I said before at other shows, and I make good ones and great ones come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and kinds. Just appreciate them for what they are. They are different in terms of their type and kind, though, and the one that I prefer is one that is more seamless in terms of that design, one that is still very good in terms of that running gear, has power and density, but yet not overpowering as the one that's going to be reserved. I prefer the blonde-headed young lady to win. Give her a nice round of applause. We go back out here for reserve again. If you want one that's rugged and stout and really big boned and footed, maybe not quite as collected in terms of size you profile, you go on and use that one. But you're going to be the second half of the ticket, young man. Give him a nice round of applause.
Which class was he in? He was in class 2. Tracy, that's Tracy. Rocks.
We're all going on the outside. You're going too fast. I've never been accused of being slow. I've been accused of lots of things. Slow.
I need class 2 and class 3 Durocs to the holding pens, please. Class 2 and class 3 Durocs to the holding pen.
Starting off with a very nice red hog. That's a single entry like that one in terms of his build, very proportionally correct. Again, we'll study that one further in the champion drive, but a very, very solid place to start. She always does a nice job driving. Give her a good round of applause.
Oh, Goofy, don't you dare. Goofy, don't you dare. Yeah, stop being Goofy. Goofy is a goofy.
Just because he wins. He didn't go win. I've heard that.
I was thinking of this. Mark sent me a picture. He said, look who's at the White House. I was like, oh. Hey, he made it all the way up the stairs. Don't tell him you're the balcony.
The captain of the White House.
The picture Mark sent me, he was just taking a picture.
Yeah.
Just like on the lawn or something.
Like, you know, rub their belly on each other.
This is where he was. The picture that Mark sent me. Oh no, that one's down low. That one would be up high if I can get it low.
He never did a Duroc because they won't do it. Just don't get a spot or hold it. You can get some Durocs up, but you don't want a Duroc that doesn't have a definitely don't get a spot or a curve or a touch. Okay? They were the three things that you not need to get. Just Duroc. No, Poland's fine. Just a Chester, a Hereford, and a Pot. They're just stupid. Yeah. They look, the Durocs look really cool, but like,
My mom.
Don't. Yeah. I was like, oh.
Young lady right here is going to win this particular class, and I like that one because that one is bolder and square in terms of cage. I think there's more natural shape and muscularity, especially when you get in behind that one square, more advanced and intense in terms of bone and foot. Not as long in terms of side. I think that one does go better off the rear too. I could strengthen them both in terms of their pasterns up front. Young man's that comes second, as we said, has the advantage in terms of extension, not quite as together in terms of seamless the transitions out of that blade into that shoulder and body wall, but one that just has so much more power than the next one that's attractive and long in terms of look. Gotta be stouter at the ground, and the young lady that we closed the class with, again, good in terms of extension, build that one wider from the ground up, give that one more days on feed to be competitive. Give them a nice round of applause.
Class 3 Durocs, we need Aspen Landry and Maggie Burtwell to the show ring, please. Aspen Landry and Maggie Burtwell to the show ring, please. We need Class 4 to start making your way to the holding ring as we speak. Class 4, start making your way to the holding pin, please. Kaylin Hicks, Dane Stegner, Madison Espy, and Chloe McCall. If you will come to the announcer stand, you have won a drawing.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's hard to say. It's not me though.
It looked like an F, and I'm like,
Yeah. I don't really know her. I just know her last name.
okay, that works. Can we turn the heater back on? I'm okay if we turn the heater back on. You know me, I'm okay if we turn the heater on.
What? We're talking about you.
Do they get them out there?
Move out here in this class, and I guess I would argue with you if you told me that one wasn't the best looking one that starts to win. Really tall fronted, good in terms of head and neck carriage, one that pieces together the most attractive and balanced silhouette from the profile. Plenty good in terms of total muscularity. I think just fine in terms of running gear compared to the contemporaries in this class. The one that comes in second, really like the roundness of rib and the body and cage. One that's just not as much my kind in terms of a show ring presentation, but I like that one better in terms of soundness than the one that comes in third. That's really square and true in terms of delineation and muscularity. One that's just not as good in terms of movement out here. And the one that we closed the class with, a nice one in terms of length. One that's just a little more disorganized in terms of that look from the profile and in terms of the way that one moves up front. Give them a nice round of applause.
Maddie Carroll, Braxton Blankenship, Hadley Wyatt, and Anna Wilkins. Please come to the announcer stand. You won prizes for the drawing.
What? Yes. What is your name? Go see her, babe. She's got the prize.
Well, you was doing it all too.
I know, but she's got the prizes.
Class 3, first place was Kinsley Crasher. Second place was Wyatt Bradford, and third place was Aston Landry.
Are you serious? But then again, if we have quite trailers down there, then they have to go across that route.